Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our fourth PagerDuty MCP community stream. I'm Rocio, Product Manager of the Forward Deploy Engineering team, and I'll be your host today. And here with me we have Jose, who is Engineering Manager of the Forward Deploy Engineering team, and he will be speaking about the new tools that he developed. And finally, we'll have a special guest joining us for the demo, but we will introduce him a little bit later. Just to recap, last stream we covered some exciting end-to-end incident management tools, specifically around status pages, incident workflows, and on-call management. Today, we will be diving into new event processing tools and Docker implementation. And moving on to January, we will still be working on our new MCP split structure, as well as some quality improvements that you have requested in GitHub, and we will target to release those in January. Before we get started, just a quick reminder to feel free to please ask questions in the chat throughout the session. We will be monitoring and replying back as we go. Now, well, let's get started with some exciting news. The PD Advanced MCP is now in early access for secure agent-to-agent workflows. You can let your SRE, insights, and chief agents pull PD contacts, recommend actions, and adjust on-call, cutting toll, and speeding resolution. If you want to trade out and request that early access, you can do it via the link that you can see in the slides, but I'll share it in the chat as well, so you don't have to type it. Now, a quick roadmap update. In January and February, we will focus on improving the day-to-day experience. We will ship platform-wide reliability improvements, complete the MCP split for better performance, and add a few new features so users can get set up faster and move through incident workflows with less friction. Moving on to March, we're tightening the platform further and removing manual overhead. We'll see better filtering to pull only the incident data that you need, plus essential webhook capabilities that make integrations cleaner and more reliable. The goal here is simpler integrations and fewer manual steps. And finally, in March, we shift to visibility and outcomes. We will expand analytics so you can see aggregate incident trends and drill into service and team level metrics. This will help you spot patterns, set targets, and improve MTTR over time. And as always, timelines and scopes may evolve, but the theme here stays the same: stronger reliability, powerful automation, and analytics and insights, as well as your community contributions and feedback, which we are constantly monitoring to help make the tool even better. And now I'll pass it over to Jose, who will tell us about the new enhancements. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Rocio, for the introduction. Jose Antonio Reyes here. And I like to share my screen. Thank you very much, Rocio. So for this release, we introduce a couple of tools, or to be more precise, 4 new tools for the Chain Events API. This is a very powerful API to track changes that may lead to incidents in your code, in your services, due to bugs or breaking changes in the code. Once you integrate chain events to your services, you can, through these new tools now available in the MCP server, you will be able to query latest chain events, and also use these new tools for incident resolution and querying and investigating if any of the latest changes in a code base were part of the culprit or the actual culprits in in a incident, in an active incident. Additionally, we also add support to the MCP server for Docker. We added a Docker definition, a Docker image definition to the MCP server, now allowing you to do things like creating multi-stage images in Docker. Here I have an example of the new image for the MCP server that will allow you to create multi-stage builds like this one. The one that I'm showing you here is an example that will use the Docker image for the service. Give me a second. Docker. Yeah, this is the file. Okay, here I have the file for the new Docker image for the MCP server that will allow you to create multi-stage images. With this image, in this example, I'm going to create a new Docker container for the MCP inspector that will take as base the Python image. After that, we'll use this to build our MCP server. After that, we'll add a new stage for the runtime, and at the end, it will add here is setting up the MCP server and creating this start script for the inspector. Once you run this kind of image that I have here with Docker Compose for
Sorry,
the
Jose, but we're seeing your GitHub still, and I think you're showing us something else.
oh, okay. Thank you. Stage. Give me a second. Share screen. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now. Oh. Here we go. Thank you for the heads up. Okay, let's start over with the new Docker image. This is the new Docker file for the MCP image. This will build the image and will allow to access the MCP server through a new Docker image. And here I have an example of multi-stage builds with the MCP server Docker image using an stage for building the MCP server, an additional step for starting the MCP server with the inspector, with the MCP inspector. And now what I'm going to do is to start this new image that I'm calling, or I have in this Docker Compose inspector YAML. And once I start this, okay, now I'm ready to, by clicking here, yeah. Here I have now the MCP inspector connected to the MCP server and built and also spin up through a multi-stage image using our MCP image. This is something that you can leverage for your containerized agents that you may have to join together with the MCP server in the same container image for distributed workloads. And with this, I'd like to pass it over to our special guest, Sebastian. Give me a second to introduce him. Sebastian, please
Hi everyone.
go
Hey
ahead.
Jose. Hey, I'm Sebastian. I'm part of well, I'm part of the forward deployment engineer team, and I've been collaborating with Jose, everything related to MCP. So as we mentioned before, we have released the new change events tools that now are available for you to use it in your environments. So I'm going to have a quick demo for you, like what is what is being paged and what is the main use of the change events. So when today I'm going to be your on-call responder and this service, the enricher front end service. So I am like the challenge here is that every team when an incident happens, every team needs to understand what changed, right? Like in the modern DevOps environment, changes happen constantly, like deployments, config updates, infrastructure changes all the time, and some database migrations and so on. So finding which change caused the incident is so important for our teams. So this is when change events are important in PagerDuty, because this is our incident that we was uh, triggered a couple of minutes ago. But we have here the recent changes directly from GitHub, like, hey, we received some changes in this branch and was made like in during these times. So as a responder, and also I'm collaborating in this repository, and or as a developer, I will use Cloud Code in the repository. Okay, so I will say, hey, I got page from PagerDuty and Richard front end service. Can you please retrieve the latest incident? And this is going to use the MCP tools to retrieve that information for us. So check. We're going to accept these calls. And yeah. So this is the incident. This is triggered, and it's the info that we just saw, right? So once we have that, we're going to ask, hey, but are there any related change events for this incident? So we have like, this incident indicates this error, the investigation and steps are related to this, and all the stuff. So are there any change events related to this incident? Because this suggestion is based on the common errors that we see before. But this specific change is going to search what happened during that time frame. So yes, there are 7 change events. So as you see, there are 8 change events that lead in the incident, and the root cause analysis, there are multiple changes that revert related to this specific environment variables in the last 4 hours. So here is when your team start working on this. Like your team could have a runbook for this, could have different procedures when you start working on this. So your internal process is important, is key here, because now you have all the context related to the change events and related to this specific incident, but now you have to execute the procedure. So let's say that you have your procedure and, well, I'm going to execute. Can you please roll back this chain. Can you please? Oh, I forgot to acknowledge. Can you please acknowledge this incident and add a note that I'm working on this? So why is this so important? Because when you acknowledge the incident, the escalation process stops. So, and as you can see, we have this Jira issue also connected to this incident. And this is the root cause. And once we added this node and we acknowledge that is going to be added also to this issue. So we can collaborate with our teams during this incident response process. It was acknowledged, and we'll see acknowledged by Sebastian Mianello. And also we will see the node that should be added. I'm going to refresh this really quick. So, okay, this is the node. I was from PagerDuty, and we will see the node here. So, okay, so can you please change the update the file and put the changes to. So now it's going to help me to do this process. As I mentioned before, this will be your internal procedure. So to change this, we're going to accept that. Trying to push the changes. And we're going to add this input to my. Okay, great. So it was deployed. And then you're going to validate and you have your review, and we're going to add this node to the incident, but internally you will have your own incident process. So let's say that this incident got resolved and we have this node in the new node here. Something that is very important when you have a deployment, and let's say that I fix this, but the recent changes are related to previous actions or incident previous actions. You are not going to see anything here because the deploy was made like 20 minutes after. So the last change before the incident is displayed here, but if you go back to the impacted incident, you will see the latest change. This is the latest one we just made. So if we go back, we can ask Cloudco, okay, this incident, okay, this is working. Now, please resolve the incident. So let me highlight what just happened here. So the incident got triggered, then the on-call checks the monitoring dashboard or checks the source and all the stuff. It checks the different things. This will be without change events, and without change events in the instance, right? You will need to go to another place and check what happened, check the logs and all the stuff, and manually understand if this is related to the incident and all the stuff. But with change events in PagerDuty, we can say, hey, the incident got triggered. We can also use Cloud Code or Cursor or other AI assistant that you use and check and the information and check the change events and all the stuff, and also start working directly in the repository or in your environment and fix this, and then like apply some changes in the incident in PagerDuty, and also those in this case are reflected into the Jira issue. So if we go back and see what was, and we can see that the issue is done, and also the comments are here. So yeah, that's mainly it. And like what will I say? The main business impact will say that we went from manual investigation that could lead an hour, 2 hours of checking the logs to a couple of minutes with AI assisted root cause analysis, right? And also root cause or AI assisted fix too. So that's the main game changer here, and I hope all the teams can use it and benefit from it. So yeah, that's mainly it. I pass it back to you, Jose. So.
Thank you for the demonstration. This is a very practical use case. I'm more standing from a development workflow point of view. However, I have this doubt of what if the chain events are not enough to solve the incident?
Yeah, it's there is a good one, because the change event is like more context for the incident. It's like it could be related, but it's more, but it's could be not the cause of the incident. So it tells you, or it says, here's what changed before the incident. You still need to investigate whether that change what caused the incident or not. That is in your incident response manual or procedure that you should follow. But these are the last changes in this specific repository or environment or whatever you are handling through change events. So yeah, it will help you to narrow the search space. So if you are swimming in several logs in several hours with your team doing it and getting paid and all this stuff, it helps you to narrow the search and understand, okay, I should look into this. And yeah, that it helps to this context of things. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And it also helps to answer the question of, did the incident was generated by a change introduced in the code base? So
Mhm.
right, this is a great tool to enhance the incident resolution workflow. Thank you very much, Sebastian. And Rocio, I'll turn it over to you. We can hear you.
Now we can. Thank you, Sebastian, for that amazing demo. We always like having you here, so we'll still bring you to our next live streams. Now, to wrap it up, here's a quick reminder of the platforms where you can find us. In our community website, you can see like next events as well as resources. You just need to type, MCP, and you'll find different resources that we have left there. On LinkedIn, we will be posting when our next stream will be, so stay tuned. If you don't follow us, follow PagerDuty. And finally, on YouTube and Twitch, you can watch us live like you're doing right now, or you can also find the recordings. And just to finalize, I'd like to invite you all who are here to try out our PagerDuty MCP, and start playing with these amazing tools that Jose and team are developing. And in case you haven't bookmarked the links already, I'm gonna share them as well. We have our MCP API and our GitHub repository. In the GitHub repo, you can find instructions on how to set up the MCP, as well as available tools, and we're keeping that up to date. So every time we're adding more tools, you'll see it reflected in the repo. And well, if you want to contact us, You can email us or join the community forums, and we will be answering to your questions there as well. I don't know if we received any in the chat already. Doesn't seem like it, but please feel free, if you have any questions, to just send us an email, maybe put it in the forum or even in GitHub if you want. We will be monitoring and answering. So, well, thank you. Stay tuned and happy holidays, everyone.
See you in the next one.